evening, my Trues Clues aficionados. I hope you all are doing well out there, taking care of yourself, keeping yourself well hydrated, looking good, feeling good. At the same time, watching out for each other. If you see something, be willing to say something as well, because that's important. I wanted to catch up with you on a couple of cases here. Well, just one today. I do have a lot of information coming out, though. I do the in depth and then I do the short evening horror stories. And with Halloween coming up, I'm going to kick it up a notch and I hope to have some fun stories out there. Still based on true crime, but you tell me how you feel about them once I get them out there. And my family is originally from New Mexico. We come from a small town called Mora, New Mexico out there. And as a child, we would go out every summer with my great grandmother to go visit her family, my cousins, my aunts, and whatnot. And it was a family that lived on a ranch. So we'd go out there and experience a different kind of living to growing up as a kid in the city. It was always a lot of fun, but we always considered it a little bit behind the times and a little bit dead. The 70s and 60s were going on there, things were being challenged. But we always had a good time visiting with family out there and also being on the ranch. We'd have to go get water out of the well to do the dishes. You'd have to go to the outhouse to use the bathroom. So it was definitely a different kind of lifestyle, but it had always had an artsy side to it, like Santa Fe draws the very creative mind and spirit there. Georgia O'Keeffe, I toured the museum there, and if you know anything about art in Georgia, she does a certain type of flower drawing. And she just was entranced with New Mexico as well. Anyway, it's changed a lot. There's a lot of gang activity out there, and it's not the sweet little place that it used to be, but where is anymore? So, back in 2021, after nearly a month on the run, a young lady by the name of Annabella Dukes recently got tracked down by the police. The 18-year-old girl was wanted by the New Mexico authorities for her alleged role in the 2021 murder of a correctional officer. You guys will have to bear with me. I do have the sniffles. I went down to Denver to visit my great granddaughter and family, and one of them was sick, and now I'm sick. Anyway, so this young lady had a boyfriend, and apparently, he was involved in criminal activity, and they had this great thing that they thought of. They would just get onto Snapchat and then they would, engage some gentlemen. And then when they found what you call a catfish or a big fish, they would, have him meet somewhere and then rob him. So that's exactly what happened on this evening. Dukes was charged with an open count of murder, 2 counts of armed robbery, and individual counts of kidnapping, tampering with evidence, and conspiracy. The 24-year-old victim was a former corrections officer at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Albuquerque. So I bet he probably had a low bullshit fuse. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to put up with a lot of crap. Allegedly, Dukes met Otero's 20-year-old brother via the Snapchat things. Is alleged to lure the brother to a location where 3 men took him captive upon arrival. I guess he showed up in a Lexus and was dripping ice. And then when he got there, she starts asking him all these questions. Well, where'd you get that? And how'd you do this? And what do you do for a living? This, that, this, and that. And the whole time she's being like, secretive and has her phone at the ready all the time. The thing that bothers me about the whole thing in researching this, the brother did say he was suspicious of the activity. Again, people, discernment. If you feel something, at least you owe it to yourself to check it out. Things could have maybe turned out a little bit differently, but then he was already in the eye of the storm, so I don't know. So after they got him And the two met at Alvarado Park. That's where they met up. During the encounter, Nicholas Otero was robbed at gunpoint by three armed men and then driven to his brother's home, where the kidnappers then asked for ransom. We're living in the Wild West here, out here now. They allegedly said they would hurt the brother if Otero did not come up with $1,000 ransom. $1,000 ransom. When I was growing up, because I grew up with a little bit of ghetto family there, they said if you're going to do the crime, make sure that the crime is worth the time, because it don't matter. At the end of the game, you're going to get the same amount of time. $1,000? They committed the murder after he refused to pay ransom. The warrant further states that Otero instead went inside with a gun, and that is when he was shot to death. I guess they felt it was their last chance, to get away with something and become famous in the books of New Mexico crime. Otero's brother was able to escape to safety as the shooting unfolded. Lucky him. Duke's 17-year-old co-defendant, Adrian Avila, is alleged to have fired the fatal shots. Avila turned himself in to the police. A criminal complaint says the robbers and Ann were working together and that the group used the same tactics during a previous carjacking in the city. So I'm telling you, they thought they came up with them a money making deal there. They were just gonna just lure people, just rob them, and just lure and rob, and just be living the high life on the hog, buying designer clothing, going to the best restaurants, just having all of that because that's what they chose to do, and that's how their money was gonna come in, right? He told police that he felt he was being set up when Ann asked him about the necklace he was wearing, where he kept his cash, and if he had a gun in the car. Nicholas then saw Ann had secretly called someone from her phone, who cops later identified as Avila, and was letting him listen in, the complaint said, because her and Avila had a thing going on. The suspects allegedly dragged Nicholas from his Lexus and demanded cash, jewelry, and a gun from him. Nicholas said he recalled seeing one of the suspects put Dukes in the second vehicle, escorting her away from the crime. And then they drove Nicholas to his brother's house and allegedly ordered Elias to bring money outside. Elias emerged from the house with his own gun and threatened to shoot the suspects, according to the police. At some point, Avila fired his gun at Elias, killing him in the street. Nicholas jumped out of the car as the suspects fled. Dukes had sent Nicholas a message in the minutes after the robbery she allegedly arranged, saying, "Are you okay? I ran. I'm still running. I don't know where to go." Dukes had sent a message to another friend in the lead up to both incidences saying, "I'm going to run away, acting all scared." She allegedly discussed the plot. This girl was looking for a life of crime, and I hope she's happy now that she's got it. A heartbroken New Mexico mom on Wednesday blasted the teen girl arrested in her son's Snapchat fueled hostage scheme murder for taking everything away from them. She pleaded guilty to armed robbery with a firearm enhancement, conspiracy, and two other charges, with murder and kidnapping charges being dropped. As part of the plea agreement, she will serve between 5 and 15 years behind bars. Avila is charged with first-degree murder and he has pled not guilty. So she got off with the deal, which means that she probably turned on him, which means that it could not have been true love like they said it was, right? And in the meantime, this young man is dead. And I hope the two of them have fun serving their prison sentence.